You know what's wild? It's never the stranger on the street that cuts you the deepest. It's never the person you barely know that leaves scars you can't see. It's the ones closest to you, the people you love, the ones you trust, that can shake you at your core. Because when they come against you, it feels personal. It feels like betrayal. It feels like you've been attacked right in the heart. Pain from betrayal or attack by someone close often feels deeper than any external challenge. Let's get real for a second. When life hits you, it's not usually the random stranger who tears you down. It's not the driver that cut you off in traffic. It's not the cashier who rolled their eyes at you. That stuff slides right off. You shrug, you move on. But when the attack comes from someone close, someone you love, someone you trusted with your heart, your secrets, your loyalty, that's when the knife cuts deeper. That's when it leaves a scar. And here's why it hurts so badly. Closeness creates expectation. You expect a stranger to misunderstand you, but you expect the people close to you to stand with you. You expect them to be your safe place. You expect them to lift you up when the world is already heavy. So when the attack comes from them, when the harsh words, the cold shoulder, or even the betrayal comes from someone who was supposed to love you, it feels like the ground just disappeared from under your feet. It shakes your core. Because if they could hurt you, who else can you trust? If they could turn against you, what does that say about the relationships you've built, the love you've given, the sacrifices you've made? That pain doesn't just bruise your heart. It messes with your identity. It makes you question your worth, your judgment, your place in the world. You see, when the attack comes from a stranger, you know it's external. You can detach from it. But when it's someone close, it seeps inside. It's personal. You replay their words in your head 1,000 times. You try to figure out what you did wrong. You start bargaining with yourself. Maybe if I hadn't said that, maybe if I had done more, maybe if I was better, they wouldn't have hurt me. That's the trap. That's how pain takes root and begins to rot from the inside out. But let me tell you something powerful. Betrayal does not define you. Attack does not erase your value. And the fact that someone close to you chose to be used against you does not mean you're broken. It means you're under attack because you're strong. Think about it. The enemy doesn't waste weapons on people going nowhere. Demons don't chase people who aren't a threat. If the battle is happening in your inner circle, it's because there's something in you worth fighting for. You're carrying light, you're carrying purpose, you're carrying growth. And the closer the attack, the harder the darkness is trying to snuff it out. And here's the truth no one likes to admit. Sometimes the people you love become the instruments of that attack without even realizing it. They may lash out because of their own wounds, their own insecurities, their own fears. They may project their pain onto you. They may let jealousy or bitterness creep in. They may be manipulated without even knowing it. But if you start treating them as the enemy, you'll lose twice. Because not only do you take the hit, you also give up the power. So the first thing you need to do when pain from someone close cuts deep is this: separate the person from the attack. Recognize the source. It doesn't mean you excuse the hurt. It doesn't mean you allow it to continue. It means you stop internalizing it. You stop making it about your worth and start seeing it for what it really is: a battle for your spirit. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, it feels like the deepest cut. But I need you to understand something: that depth of pain is also the depth of strength you're capable of. You wouldn't feel it so intensely if you didn't have a heart that loves deeply. You wouldn't feel it so personally if you weren't someone who gives your all. That's not weakness, that's power. So instead of letting betrayal harden you, let it sharpen you. Instead of closing off your heart, let it teach you boundaries. Instead of questioning your worth, let it remind you that you're valuable enough to be targeted. That pain may feel like it's breaking you, but in reality, it's shaping you. It's building resilience, compassion, clarity. It's showing you who you are when everything safe is shaken. And when you rise from that place, not bitter, but wiser, not broken, but stronger, you'll realize something incredible. The people who tried to attack you, the people who let themselves be used against you, were never stronger than you. They were just a mirror that revealed your power, recognizing that the real enemy is not the person, but the darkness working through them shifts the power back to you. Here's a truth most people never want to hear when someone close attacks you. They are rarely the real enemy. Shocking, right? Because in the heat of betrayal, it feels personal. It feels like they consciously set out to hurt you. Your mind starts replaying every interaction, every conversation, every laugh you shared, and suddenly it's all wrapped in a painful narrative. They did this to me. They betrayed me. They turned against me. And yes, it's true that their actions caused you pain. But if you stop there, you're giving them all the power. Think about it. What if the person acting out isn't even fully aware of what they're doing? What if they're being used by forces? Anger, jealousy, fear, resentment, darkness that have nothing to do with your value, your purpose, your heart. That's the reality. Most people, even those closest to you, are not always in control of the energy they carry. They may be projecting their insecurities. They may be reacting to their past trauma. They may be letting someone else's manipulation guide their hand. The attack is real, but the source is something much deeper than the face you see. Here's the shift that changes everything. The moment you recognize the real enemy isn't the person, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to the surface level and start addressing the root. You stop spinning in anger, confusion, or despair, and instead you start seeing patterns. You start identifying the darkness that tried to use someone you love as a weapon against you. And most importantly, you stop letting it define your reality. Let me be very clear, this does not mean you excuse toxic behavior. It doesn't mean you allow the attack to continue. Boundaries are still essential. Accountability is still essential. But when you shift your focus from "they hurt me" to "this darkness tried to hurt me, and I will not allow it to win," everything changes. You move from victimhood into strategy, from chaos into control, from despair into strength. The truth is, anyone who tries to attack you, directly or indirectly, is facing a battle inside themselves. The darkness that guides their hand is their burden, not yours. And the moment you start carrying that weight, the moment you personalize it, the moment you let it dictate your emotions, you lose. You step into their battlefield, their chaos, their storm. But when you see it clearly, the attack is the symptom, not the cause. You rise above it. Here's a mental exercise that works like magic when someone close lashes out. Instead of screaming back in anger or spiraling in hurt, take a moment and ask yourself, what is driving this behavior? What darkness is influencing this person? I promise you, the answer will never be that they are stronger than you, or smarter than you, or that you deserve this pain. The answer is usually fear, insecurity, unresolved pain, or jealousy. And when you identify the real enemy, you stop seeing the face and start seeing the force. And forces can be resisted. Forces can be overcome. Forces can be neutralized. This shift also gives you clarity. It allows you to respond rather than react. You can take deliberate action, set clear boundaries, and protect your peace without bitterness. You no longer allow someone else's storm to dictate your emotional weather. You understand that while the person may be close, the darkness is the real threat, and your job is to shield yourself from it, not to fight them. When you see the real enemy, something beautiful happens. You stop carrying resentment. You stop replaying the betrayal in your mind. You stop letting fear or anger control your days. Instead, you begin to focus on what you can control: your energy, your response, your faith, your growth. You reclaim your life from the chaos that tried to take it. And here's the ultimate truth. Once you recognize the darkness as the enemy, not the person, you realize that attacks are not about you. They never were. They are tests. They are lessons. They are mirrors showing you where you are strong where you are vulnerable, and where you have the power to rise above. You become untouchable, not because the attacks stop, but because your spirit becomes stronger than anything trying to break it. Emotional resilience and clarity become your greatest weapons when you feel spiritually attacked. Let me tell you something that most people don't understand. The moment someone close attacks you, it's not just a physical or verbal assault. It's a spiritual test. It's designed to shake your foundation, rattle your confidence, and cloud your mind. And if you're not careful, you'll react impulsively, emotionally, and end up giving away your power before the fight even begins. But here's the thing, emotional resilience isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. And clarity is your secret weapon. Think about it when you're in the eye of the storm. Everything feels chaotic. Words sting more than they should. Actions seem deliberate when they may not be. You replay conversations in your head. You spiral in anger and sadness and betrayal. And the enemy wins, not because they are stronger than you, but because you gave your mind and your heart to the storm. Resilience changes that. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. It doesn't mean you suppress anger, hurt, or disappointment. It means you feel it fully, acknowledge it, and then decide not to let it control you. That's where the power lies. The people who attack you, whether knowingly or unknowingly, cannot penetrate your peace if you refuse to surrender it. Your clarity and your resilience form a shield, and nothing can break through that shield unless you allow it. Here's the first principle. Recognize your emotional triggers. When someone close attacks you, certain words, actions, or tones might push buttons you didn't even know existed. Awareness is everything. The moment you recognize the trigger, you gain the pause, the split second between impulse and action, where power resides. In that pause, you choose. You decide whether to react like a victim or respond like a warrior. You decide whether to engage in chaos or maintain your peace. The second principle is grounding yourself in truth. Attacks from loved ones often cloud your judgment because emotions overrun reason. Resilience requires a mental anchor, something constant, something unshakable. It could be your purpose, your faith, your values, your vision. When that anchor is clear, you see the attack for what it really is, an external attempt to shake you, not a reflection of your worth. Clarity allows you to separate the person from the force acting through them. It allows you to act decisively, not impulsively. The third principle is disciplined detachment. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you cut people off immediately or ignore your feelings. It means you engage with awareness and boundaries. You can love someone deeply, even when they hurt you. You can speak your truth, even when they resist it. You can protect your peace, even when chaos surrounds you. That detachment is a weapon because it stops you from being manipulated by your own emotions. Here's the reality: when demons or darkness or negativity try to use someone close to hurt you, they are counting on your reaction. They want confusion, anger, bitterness. They want emotional chaos. But resilience and clarity disrupt that plan. They allow you to observe without falling, to act without destroying, and to rise without resentment. That's how true power looks. And here's the secret no one talks about: clarity and resilience are contagious. The stronger you get, the less influence attacks have on your life. The calmer you remain, the more obvious the chaos becomes for others. The more composed you are, the less anyone can manipulate your energy. You become untouchable, not because attacks stop, but because your spirit has grown larger than the storm. So if someone close is being used as a weapon against you, don't fight them with anger. Don't fight with resentment. Fight with clarity. Fight with discipline. Fight with resilience. Those two, resilience and clarity, are more powerful than any external attack, any betrayal, and any dark force. And when you master them, you'll discover something incredible. The attacks stop controlling you, and you start controlling your destiny. Here's something most people never fully grasp. When someone close attacks you, the first instinct is to react. And I get it. It's natural. Your emotions flare. Your heart races. Your mind screams. You want to lash out to defend yourself, to prove you're not weak. But that reaction, raw, immediate, unfiltered, that's exactly what the darkness wants. That's the trap. That's the moment you hand over your power without even realizing it. Discipline changes everything. Responding with discipline isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending the attack doesn't hurt. It's about controlling the timing, tone, and energy of your response. It's about acting from a place of power instead of pain. When you respond with discipline, you take the reins of the situation instead of letting the chaos take them from you. You decide how much energy, time, and attention the attack deserves. And that decision alone neutralizes the weapon being wielded against you. Think about it. When someone close attacks you, your mind immediately starts spinning with thoughts. How could they do this to me? Did I do something wrong? I need to defend myself right now. That spinning is the trap. That's the snare. The moment you react impulsively, you play their game. You give them the satisfaction of control. You let the storm dictate your actions instead of standing firm in your peace. Discipline flips that script. Discipline starts with a pause. A pause, a single intentional breath, can feel like nothing, but it is everything. It gives your mind a chance to assess the situation. It gives your heart a chance to catch up with your emotions. And in that split-second pause, you can choose the right path, the path that preserves your energy, protects your peace, and maintains your integrity. That pause is where power lies. That pause is where the battle is won before it even begins. Next comes clarity and communication. Discipline doesn't mean silent suffering or passive acceptance. It means speaking clearly, firmly, and intentionally. It means setting boundaries without aggression. It means stating the facts without letting emotion hijack your words. You can confront betrayal or attack without sinking to the level of chaos being thrown at you. You can defend yourself without becoming a weapon for the same darkness. That's the essence of discipline: measured, deliberate, and powerful action. Here's another secret: responding with discipline protects your long-term energy. Emotional reactions are exhausting. They drain you mentally, physically, and spiritually. They keep you locked in the attack instead of moving forward. Discipline, on the other hand, conserves your energy. It allows you to rise above the immediate chaos, focus on what truly matters, and turn every challenge into an opportunity for growth. It allows you to keep winning in ways that are invisible to the attacker, but undeniable in your life. And let's not forget, discipline builds respect. When someone close attacks you, and you respond with composure instead of chaos, you send a message. You may have tried to hurt me, but you will not control me. That message reverberates, it creates boundaries. It signals that while you are human and you feel pain, you are not weak, and you will not be manipulated. That level of self-control is disarming. It changes the dynamics entirely, because no one wants to fight someone who refuses to be pulled into the storm. Finally, discipline empowers you to transform attack into advantage. Every time you respond with control, you practice mastery over your mind, heart, and spirit. You turn betrayal into clarity, chaos into strategy, and attack into armor. You move from victim to victor, from reactive to proactive, and from powerless to unstoppable. That is the game-changing power of discipline. It doesn't just keep you out of the trap, it elevates you beyond it. So the next time someone close is used as a weapon against you, remember this: your first instinct may be to react. Fight that instinct. Pause. Breathe. Respond with clarity, strength, and discipline. Protect your peace, protect your power, and rise above the chaos. That is how you win, not by being louder, angrier, or faster, but by being smarter, calmer, and unshakable. Let's get real, adversity is never easy. When someone close is used as a weapon against you, it cuts deeper than almost any other challenge. It's personal, it's raw, it feels like it's designed to break you. And for a moment, you may think it has succeeded. You may feel powerless, confused, and overwhelmed. But here's the truth you need to hear: adversity doesn't break you, it reveals you. And more importantly, it can be transformed into strength that shapes the person you are becoming. Think about it. Every attack, every betrayal, every moment of pain has a lesson embedded inside it. The problem is, most people never see it. They focus on the hurt. They replay the betrayal. They spiral in anger or regret. And in doing so, they miss the real opportunity, the opportunity to grow, to learn, to emerge stronger. When you choose to see adversity as a teacher rather than a tormentor, you shift the entire equation. You turn attack into advantage. You turn pain into power. Transformation begins with perspective. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What lesson is hidden in this struggle? How can this make me stronger, wiser, more resilient? That simple reframing changes everything. Suddenly, the attack is no longer a prison. Suddenly, the pain is no longer a chain. It becomes a tool to sharpen your character, deepen your wisdom, and fortify your spirit. Next, embrace the challenge. Adversity is uncomfortable, intensely so, but discomfort is where growth happens. Every time you face betrayal or attack, you are being pushed beyond your comfort zone. You are being forced to confront your own weaknesses, insecurities, and blind spots. You are being challenged to rise to a level of strength you didn't know you had. And the choice is yours: shrink under pressure or grow through it. That's the essence of transforming adversity into strength, leaning into the discomfort instead of running from it. Here's the key. Lessons from attacks don't just make you tougher, they make you smarter. Every betrayal teaches you to recognize patterns. Every attempt to hurt you teaches you to set boundaries. Every manipulation reveals who and what is worth your energy. You start to see life with clarity, like a map unfolding before you. And when clarity meets resilience, the result is unstoppable strength. You no longer stumble blindly into future challenges. You navigate them with precision, strategy, and confidence. Another critical element is forgiveness, not for them, but for you. Holding on to anger or bitterness keeps the attack alive. It keeps the weapon sharp. Transforming adversity requires releasing what you cannot control and focusing on what you can. Forgiveness in this context doesn't mean excusing the behavior. It means refusing to let it dictate your emotional state or future decisions. It's a reclaiming of power, a statement that the attack no longer owns a piece of you. Finally, transformation turns pain into purpose. Once you begin to see attacks as lessons rather than punishments, your entire approach to life changes. You stop fearing betrayal. You stop dreading challenges. You start seeing every obstacle as a stepping stone toward your stronger, wiser, more resilient self. And that's where true empowerment lies, not in avoiding adversity, but in using it to build a version of yourself